Z tej strony dzisiaj przetestujemy Super Wildcard SMS 3201. Krótko mówiąc, jest to zgrywarka do gier Super Nintendo, czy też kopiarka umożliwiająca zgrywanie zawartości kartridża na dyskietkę 3,5 cala. Tak więc sobie to przetestujemy. Z góry, jak możecie zobaczyć, mamy port na kartridże. Z boku jest tradycyjna PC-owska stacja dyskietek. A z tyłu jeszcze jest port równoległy, który umożliwia podłączenie tego urządzenia pod kompa i można też w taki oto sposób sobie po prostu przerzucać pliki z grami. Podobno jest jeszcze jedna opcja, jeżeli mamy na przykład stację dyskietek pod USB, to można zgrane wcześniej romy po prostu zgrać na dyskietkę i też powinny się odpalać przy pomocy tego urządzenia. Spróbujmy to sobie odpalić. Jeszcze w sumie od unboxingu nie miałem czasu się tym zająć. Wyczyścić nic. Nawet tego jeszcze nie rozkręciłem, a na 100% będzie to wymagane. Tak było wcześniej, ta plomba tak delikatnie przerywana. Tak jest cały czas. Ale na 100% będzie trzeba to rozkręcić, wyczyścić, sprawdzić jak miewa się bateria. Spróbujmy to odpalić. OK, oto nasze menu startowe. Wersja BIOSu 2.6. Można sobie podobno zmienić BIOS na 2.8 CCC, który był ostatnim wydanym w 1994 roku, a ta zabawka jest z 1993 roku. I też co zdążyłem zauważyć, można odpalić Super Game Boya z jakąś grą, ale niestety działa to bardzo wolno, że po prostu nie da się grać. Również można zrzucić sobie ROM tej gry na dyskietkę. Nie ma z tym problemu, no ale bardzo wolno to sobie śmiga. I mam nadzieję, że jakby się wymieniło tego BIOSa na tą wersję z 1994 roku, to może to już było wzięte pod uwagę, ponieważ Super Game Boy był wydany w 1994 roku. I może ci piraci z Tajwanu, którzy wydali to urządzenie, wzięli to pod uwagę. To urządzenie jest w stanie odpalać, to znaczy nie odpalać może każdy jeden kartridż, który tu widzicie, ale zrzucać może gry tylko pod 16 megabitowe kartridże. Na przykład takie Final Fantasy jest chyba grą na kartridżu 24 megabitowym. Tak więc tej gry nie można byłoby zrzucić, ponieważ to urządzenie ma za mało pamięci, jest tylko 16. Ale podobno można też również robić upgrade'y. Tak więc warto byłoby się z tym zapoznać. Są tam jakieś szczątkowe informacje na necie, ale wiecie, tam trzeba się przekopywać przez te amerykańskie fora. Dobra, pierwsze co mamy to znaczek tego właśnie urządzenia. I tutaj możemy odpalać gry z dyskietki, możemy przywracać sobie zapisy stanu gry SRAM, to jest Save State. Możemy go sobie również zapisać na dyskietkę. I mamy DRAM 0. No niestety DRAM jest zerowy i to jest moim zdaniem wada tego urządzenia. Po prostu nie ma pamięci DRAM. Być może będzie trzeba wyciągnąć tą pamięć, o ile jest na podstawce, i włożyć z powrotem. Może będzie trzeba stópki przeczyścić jakoś alkoholem czy coś. Może coś zaśniedziało i tej pamięci nie wykrywa. Tak więc to jest problem, który uniemożliwia odpalanie gier z dyskietek. Tak więc bez problemu możemy sobie zrzucić daną grę na dyskietkę, ale niestety po odpaleniu gry z dyskietki mamy tylko czarny ekran. Właśnie dlatego, że DRAM jest wykrywalny, no jest w sumie niewykrywalny, mamy 0. SRAM 256 KB pamięci mamy SRAM i możemy też w tej pamięci sobie zatrzymać save state, ale niestety bateria najwyraźniej jest padnięta. No tak te baterie kończą, albo padnie, albo po prostu się rozleje na płytę i zrobi uszkodzenia. Tak więc w najbliższym czasie będzie trzeba to rozkręcić i zajrzeć do środka, jak się miewa ta sprawa. Tak więc możemy odpalać gry, możemy też przerzucać save state. Tu są opcje dyskietki, tak więc możemy włączyć sobie weryfikację po zapisie, możemy zmienić nazwę pliku, skasować dany plik, Na dyskietce można na przykład wrzucić sobie, nie wiem, 10 save state'ów i można tym operować. Formatowanie dyskietki, można sobie przekopiować dany plik albo całą dyskietkę. I display wersja PAL. Ale
Looking back, it feels like there was a point in the 1980s where I couldn't go for a couple of weeks watching television without seeing somebody say something like this.
You may be surprised to hear that in my pocket I've got all the volumes of the current version of the Encyclopedia Britannica. No, it's not a magic trick. It's a new technology called compact disc read-only memory, or CD-ROM for short. It might look like the compact discs you may have at home in your hi-fi or in your Discman portable player, but this holds data. How much data? Well, enough to hold the equivalent of 450 of these. That's sufficient to hold all the works of Shakespeare and all the books you see behind me here.
I heard about this library on a disc thing so many times, it started to sound like something that I might actually want. Yeah, a library on a disc, that kind of sounds cool. Well, Sony definitely thought so anyway, and they took it a stage further. Not only did they put books on disc, but they made it portable, so you could carry around a library in your pocket, if your pocket was big enough. Let's have a look at the Sony Data Discman. The first Data Discman e-book reader, the Sony DD1, was launched in Japan in the middle of 1990. It was a little over a year later, at the end of 1991, when the first model made its way to the US, and that was the DD1EX. That was a slight upgrade of that original version, because it had a larger screen, and it also added a backlight onto that screen as well. This new electronic book reader was featured in Popular Mechanics' January 1992 issue, although that magazine went on sale on the 15th of December 91, and would have gone to press a couple of weeks before then, so it looks likely that the DD1EX actually made its way to market just before Christmas 1991. Now, I've got one of those US DD1EX models here, and at the time they were selling this box, they were bundling it with 3 electronic books, apparently worth $229 in total. Those are Compton's Concise Encyclopedia, the Wellness Encyclopedia, and Passport's World Travel Translator. Now, about a year or so later, when it was launched in the UK, those book titles, they're definitely not worth $229. The ones we got here were Harrop's Multilingual Dictionary, Hutchison's Encyclopedic Dictionary, and the Thomson Electronic Directory. Yes, that's a phone book. Okay, well, moving on, let's have a look at the player itself and see exactly how it works and what it can do. Well, to start with, it's a portable device. You can run it on 6 AA batteries or, of course, power it from an AC power adapter. It reads 3-inch optical discs that are in caddies, which can contain up to 100,000 pages of text or 32,000 graphic images, although those pages of text are just 10 lines by 30 characters on that 3.4-inch display. Now, as far as the graphics resolution, well, to find that out, I'm going to have to look in this booklet here. This is something that would have picked up in a shot to show you what it would look like. That's an actual size model. And it says here that resolution is 256 by 200 pixels. Now, those aren't grayscale, it's either black or white. And how much did all this cost? Back in 1991, well, according to the side of this US box, whoever purchased this paid $599.99. I mentioned you could power it from 6 AA batteries, but you could replace that with the rechargeable battery cell that was included inside the box, and according to the specs you got 6 hours out of 6 AA batteries, or 5 with the backlight on, and the rechargeable cell lasted a maximum of 2.5 or 2 with the backlight on. You can also see some other specs on the screen, including dimensions and the weight. Now, as is common with these black rubberized coated electronics from the early 90s, the coating has started to break down and it's gone really sticky. It's pretty unpleasant to hold, but I'll show you around it. On the left-hand side, that's where your power goes in. We've got the contrast for the screen, stereo headphone output, volume control for the headphones, controls for the CD player, a hold switch to stop it being activated when you don't want it to be, and a video output on this side. And we've got a cable for that as well. If you look on the bottom, you can see it can be switched between NTSC or PAL, so this is a worldwide device. There's no region coding or anything like that on these. It was designed to be easy to use by anyone without any computer experience required, so we've got a cursor control and then a large yes button with a smaller no beside it. Above there is a standard QWERTY layout, which is missing a space bar. You'd use the right arrow to insert a space, and then above there we've got function keys which relate to the things that are shown on the screen. And that screen, despite being larger than the original Japanese model, is still very small to try and read a book on. However, it is backlit, so I suppose that's something. Now, the discs themselves go in beneath the keyboard here, but what titles could you get for this? Well, let's have a look through this spring 1992 catalogue. Now, these were all the titles that were available at this point, and it looks like there's something here for everyone. It covers education, entertainment, literature, methods, sports, travel and leisure. But when you actually look at the titles that are available under each of those subheadings, there are very few in there that actually jump out at you as being something that you really want to buy. I remember this product turning up in the stores in the early 90s, and I excitedly picked up one of those brochures I showed you before that had an actual size model inside. inside. And I was imagining this as being like an updated Game Boy. I know it's very naive, but I was thinking, imagine the adventure games you could play on this with a CD-ROM drive in the bottom. But looking through this catalogue, the most interesting thing I could find here that I would have wanted to buy would be Roger Ebert's Movie Home Companion for 1991. A common misconception about the data disc man is that you couldn't get normal books on it. You could get reference titles, encyclopedias, dictionaries, databases, that kind of thing. But if you wanted a novel, for example, they didn't sell those. Well, they did. They were in these Library of the Future discs. There were 3 of these issued, and they included up to 150 famous works of literature. So, for example, you could have sat down and read Moby Dick on your small liquid crystal display, if you'd got enough batteries, that is. So how much did these discs cost? Well, they vary between $30 and $50 as a whole, although there are a couple of standout ones there, and bear in mind the 1992
komputerowych i konsolowych. Widziałem takie lobos w grze na Super NES-a.
The Contents Concise Encyclopedia. And if you remember, that was the one that was included bundled inside the box I got from the US. So at one point that had been available separately, and no doubt they added it into the box later in an attempt to make the product more attractive to the public and add some perceived value to it. There's one big problem with this whole library on a disc idea, and it's how does anyone get paid? I mean, you could just release, say, 1 book on a disc, but a paperback book would be cheaper than this, and it isn't really doing the format any justice. It's almost empty. So what about perhaps putting the entire works of a particular author on a disc, say all the Stephen King books? Well, what would you charge for all those, and would anyone be prepared to pay for it? And then what about the people who don't really want all the books, just want a selection of them, and then try and get the author on board as well? So you can see why they ended up more with reference books and books out of the public domain, so you could just put a load of Shakespeare or old books on one of these, and then of course you're looking at that on the shelf thinking, well, why do I want to read a lot of old books on a modern format on a little tiny screen? The whole idea just doesn't really work out. Now ideally I'd love to be able to demonstrate one of these discs using the built-in LCD, but unfortunately both the machines that I've got, the LCDs, are dead. But the machines themselves are still alive. I can imagine loads of people just threw these away as a result of that, because it's a common problem. However, I'm going to be able to demonstrate the disc to you still, because I'll use the video output on here, and I'll plug that into the television. I'll plug the audio out from the other side as well. So whilst we can't look at it on the machine itself, we'll be able to see it on the television. In the early 90s, when the data Discman came out, CD-ROM was really starting to explode in popularity. It had been on the scene for quite a few years. I mean, the JEJA PC Engine CD-ROM attachment came out in 1988 in Japan. But by this point in 92, not many people would have a CD-ROM drive in their computers. I remember I got my first one for my PC in 1993 when I bought Day of the Tentacle. So that's how come I can date it to that point. And I remember even then I was still pretty much an early adopter. I didn't know anyone else who had a CD-ROM drive at home. I'd imagine the kind of people who bought this product when it first came out at the end of 91 or beginning of 92 would really have been early adopters as well. They would have been the kind of people who would be happy to spend $600 plus the cost of the discs on a device like this. I don't know what disc they would have bought that they would have considered would be worth spending that amount of money on, but I know I would have been a little bit disappointed by this. In fact, I know I was, because I remember trying these out in the stores at the time, I'd been quite excited about the idea. As soon as I actually got to use one, it was really quite underwhelming. Just looking through pages with a small amount of text on them and searching for things was the kind of thing that wore thin very quickly. And I remember just walking away from the display for this thing thinking, well, yeah, I don't actually want one after all, especially not at that price. I wonder if the people who bought the early ones were happy with their purchases. You'll notice that it comes up with the responses quite quickly, and that's because as soon as you start typing in your search, it's starting to look for it. When you press that first character, that's when the disk spins up. And as you add additional characters into your search term, it's narrowing it down, so that by the time you press that yes key to enter the search field, it's already got the response ready for you. So let's try one of these UK discs out now. Just for fun, let's have a look at the phone book. Well, it's a business directory. It's a rival to the Yellow Pages, the Thomson directory. You can see we've got a number of different regions here. They call it a Thomson local, but of course this is a national disc because they don't know who's going to be buying the disc where you are in the country, so they have to put all the different versions on, and of course they have space to spare. So let me search for something in London on this. I'll look for Tower Records that I know would have been around at the point that this disc was issued in the early 90s. We've got 4 different Tower record stores there, and you can see that's the one in Piccadilly Circus as well as the other 3 that follow it on. Let's try something else. Let's have a look at another music store. We'll try the Virgin Mega store on Oxford Street. And, okay, so it's not on this page, but you can see Virgin Mastertronic at the bottom there. I'll just go down the line, and yes, there it is. So we'll just have a look, and there you go. While we're on the subject of music, let's try some of these CDs, because it can play mini CDs, the 3-inch, 8-centimetre CDs that were issued with singles on for a while. They weren't very popular over in the West, but they did with more popularity, of course, over in Japan, and they just pop in the middle here. They don't click in place, and you can just play them using the controls on the front. These CD singles could hold up to 24 minutes worth of audio, or in data terms about 210 megabytes. But I think at the point when this player came out, they probably had a little bit less capacity than that, probably between 180 and 200 megabytes in total. As a replacement for a Walkman goes, it really isn't that much use because it can't play full-size CD albums, just those singles. But we've seen it playing those, and we've seen some text displayed on the screen. One thing we haven't looked at, though, is the graphics. So let's have a look at that now. Remember, these are 256 by 200 pixels, and they're either black or white pixels. There's no grayscale images here. Now, on each disc, you're able to look through the graphics that are on there with this graphics search. It just pages through them one after the other. One thing I should do here is adjust the aspect ratio to 4:3 so that you can see what it would have looked like when it was displayed on the screen rather than being stretched out on this TV screen. So you can page through the graphics one at a time. You can see they're quite rudimentary. They wouldn't have appeared, though, in the articles. So you get an article, you get down to the thing that says, see this picture, you press right arrow, and then the picture would have come up. They'll look a lot better on this TV screen than they would have done on the LCD. Out of the titles I've got, the Compton's Concise Encyclopedia definitely seems to be one of the better ones. Of course, that was a $130 title. It doesn't know the answer to everything, but when it comes to graphics, it certainly makes better use out of them than any of the others. You can still use that graphical search facility where you just page through them one at a time, but they've added in something extra in here that once you're in a graphic, you can then go from that graphic to the article that it should be related to by positioning your cursor at different points on the screen. It's a bit of a hack around the system in a way, but it works quite well. So you get your graphic on the screen that you're interested in, and then move the cursor over to the right-hand side and press yes, and then I'll take it into the article associated with that image. Of course, Compton's Encyclopedia is a good encyclopedia, and the information that's in there is definitely worth reading. It's just accessing it using this device can prove to be tricky at times. For example, if I search for compact disc, it brings back no results. But if I just search for the word compact on its own, it brings back one result, which just happens to be compact disc. Now, once you get into the article, the information that's in there is detailed and comprehensive. Of course, it's spread over many pages. You've got to scroll through it 9 lines at a time, which is one of the disadvantages of this format. It would be easier to read it in a book, but then again, the book would be a much bigger thing to carry around. However, searching for the information that you want on one of these e-books is a frustrating experience. As a way to compensate for this, each disc is accompanied by quite a thick manual that has a lot of additional information in there. And according to the instruction booklet, they want you to take your manual along with your electronic book so that you can understand how to access the information in the electronic book. It amused me, that idea, the fact you'd have to take along a paper book so you could then use your electronic one. Of course, you could get by without it. Other useful bits of information in the manual include you shouldn't do a flying elbow drop on the top of the lid, and additionally you can take out the disc from the caddy if you need to clean it. There are clear markings on each caddy as to which corner you open, and to do that you just push in a plastic tab and the bottom hinges at the other corner. When you remove the disc, you can see it's got all the information printed on there. I suppose that means you can't mix it up with any others and put it back in the...
Ładować z tym plastikiem, i z tego plastiku tę płytkę i włożyć całą płytkę do środka. No i jako płytkę.
The wrong caddy. And you might be wondering what would happen if you were to put one of these discs into a computer. Well, I'll show you. If you put it into a CD-ROM drive, of course it will read it, but you can't actually access the information that's on there properly without having an appropriate piece of software to read those databases. But that software did exist back in 1992 at least, when Sony sold the DDR1. This is an external drive which attaches up to a computer via RS-232 and would enable you to read the data discman ebooks on a PC. Now, whilst I've been unable to find the reader software that would have accompanied that drive, you can still get hold of some unofficial authoring software that would enable you to create your own data discman discs. And once you've got the format the data discman can read, of course, you can burn them to an 8cm CD. The web address for that software is at the bottom right of the screen there. Now, if you're interested, you can see how the caddy is opened up inside the machine here. There's an arm with a roller on the end that locates inside a notch on the door of the caddy, and as you push it down, the door then is slid to one side. I'd imagine that's very similar to how a 3.5-inch floppy opens up. It's just a little bit easier to see here. Now, this is something that not many people will have seen before, the DDP1, the printer for the data disk mount. The way this works is you plug it into a power supply, you plug the video out, the DDP1 gets into the side of here, and you adjust the contrast, because what it's doing is printing the video output display on your TV screen. So the mirror of the image is displayed on the LCD on the disc mount itself, and it puts it onto this thermal paper. Now, unfortunately, my device is not fully functional. Well, it's hardly functional. It just spits out this nonsense. But that piece of text there, or image as it is on this case, should have looked like the image that you see on the TV screen there. Just think that isn't really an awful lot of use. You're printing effectively just a tiny amount of text. It's not a full article. It would be that you see there. Well, you can imagine that's the kind of thing you could just scribble down on a pad with a pen, and then you wouldn't have to plug a printer into a wall power supply. It's a really unusual object, because I just don't think there's so many of these, because it's pretty useless. Looking at the serial number on the bottom, it looks like this is the 90th one that they made, but I don't know if they made very many more than that. Oh, and just in case you were wondering, I did try printing both NTSC and PAL video outputs. It didn't work with either because it is just broken, unfortunately. In fact, just shortly after filming that segment, it stopped working entirely. I don't know if this title caught your eye earlier on when we were looking through that catalogue, but it certainly caught mine back in the early 90s. Adventure 101. It seems to indicate that it's some sort of adventure game, and if that's the case, if it is a game, it's the only game that was released on this format in the West. It's been a mystery for me for the last 25 years what this actually is. Well, I managed to get hold of one recently, so I can now finally find out. So, let's have a look. Now, it took me a couple of years of searching to find this title, and it's very rare to find any of these electronic books in their box sealed. More often than not, it's just a disc that's offered on its own. So, very happy to get hold of this. And I've got to say, yes, it is a game. Although not the kind of game that I was expecting. I was thinking it was going to be like a text adventure in the sense of like pick key up, use key in door, go north, that kind of thing. Instead, it's more like a choose-your-own adventure book. Now, the way those worked is that you'd read a long passage of text, and then occasionally you'd be given a choice whether to go north or south, for example, and depending upon which one you chose, you flick to a particular page in the book. Well, this works the same way. You get various
3, 2, 1, start.
Dawaj Stefan! Liść mój koł! Dawaj Stefan! Nie bądź bał! Dobra, Bobo! Jestem tu! Dobra, Bobo! Wystarczył! Uwielbiam pytać moim zbieraczom. Pytać językiem kocznianym. Pytać moim zbieraczom. Dawaj, DJ! Zbierać mam! Dawaj, DJ! Licznie tam! Okej, Bobo! Wypnij się! Okej, Bobo! Lysnę cię! Uwielbiam wypadać moim zbieraczom. Językiem kocznianym. Moim zbieraczom. Językiem kocznianym. Delikatne kakao liże szorstki język twój. Nie wystarcza, to za mało. Nie przybywaj, nie bądź chuj. A brązowe me słoneczko rozjebane jest juteczko, gdy językiem i pisionem się wpychacie tam z powrotem. Uwielbiam pytać moim zbieraczom. Językiem kocznianym. Moim zbieraczom. Dawaj Stefan! Dawaj DJ! Nie bądź tam! Nie! O Jezu, jak mnie sędzą. Jest tak, proszę tutaj. Moim ciągle że niby jest to fakt niezaprzeczalny, stan zupełnie naturalny, niemoralny. Taki status jest przyjęty, tutaj tak nadaje to jest popełnię świadomy, że lecz nieważne jakie tutaj są zasady, to nie sedno tej balady, no i nie ma na to.
Jakie problemy z oddychaniem? Zadyszka i ostry ból przy wdechach. Sądzisz, że dlatego rzuciła cię żona? Umierający, więc obwiniasz za swój stan zdrowia kogoś innego. Ale on tak.
Pepsi Man. Zapomniałem o tej zajebistej gierce. Pepsi Man.
Nic nie zrobisz. Potrzebujesz mnie. On nic ci nie zrobi. Potrzebuję cię. Ale musisz też wiedzieć, że nie wolno ze mną igrać. Do ciebie.
Patrz na moje włosy. Się z lekarzem lub farmaceutą. Właściwie stosowany zagraża twojemu życiu lub zdrowiu. włosy. JEJA.pl wzmacnia je od wewnątrz, a o pielęgnację zadbają szampon i odżywkowy tebel.
JEJA.pl. Recepta na piękne włosy.
Oto nowość w walce z bolesnymi zmianami w jamie ustnej. Dentosept A w nowej formie aplikatora. To lek na różne dolegliwości jamy ustnej, który szybko, precyzyjnie znieczula i działa przeciwzapalnie.
Od razu lepiej. Naprawdę od razu.
A dzięki wygodnej formie aplikacji możesz stosować zawsze i wszędzie. Szybkie rozwiązanie na afty, miejsca bolesne, stany zapalne. Dentosept A. Szybsze znieczulenie i proste leczenie. Przed użyciem zapoznaj się z treścią ulotki dołączonej do opakowania bądź skonsultuj się z lekarzem lub farmaceutą, gdyż każdy lek niewłaściwie stosowany zagraża Twojemu życiu lub zdrowiu.
Zbierz ekskluzywną kolekcję dzieł Charlesa Dickensa w specjalnym ilustrowanym wydaniu. 2 tomy, tylko 14,90. Już w kioskach.
Help for Skin. Dlaczego zawsze mam go w apteczce? Bo pomaga całej mojej rodzinie na przeróżne rany, skaleczenia czy oparzenia.
Help for Skin to wyrób medyczny z nowoczesną formułą 4 w 1. Help for Skin. Poczwórna moc gojenia.
To szafka Janka. Janek uwielbia podróże i przyjaźni się z Lenką. Lenka ma dobre oko, spostrzeże każdy drobiazg i lubi robić ci zdjęcia. Są jeszcze Ola i Kacper. Ola czasem coś smaruje, a Kacper czyta dużo książek. Od czwartku w Lidlu super jakości to tak tanio. Bluza typu college lub ocieplana od 27 zł. Spodnie dresowe w rewelacyjnej cenie 12,99. A świecące buty 39,99. Lidl. Więcej na radość z życia.
Zaplanuj weekend i weź pierwszą pożyczkę. RRSO 0%. Minus.pl.
W tym odcinku pokażę Wam, w jaki sposób włączyć lub wyłączyć wygaszacz ekranu na telefonie z Androidem, a więc żeby to zrobić, klikacie sobie w prawym dolnym rogu zakładkę aplikacje, następnie wybieracie sobie ustawienia i przejdziecie sobie teraz do ustawień. Macie do wyboru 4 zakładki, Was interesować będzie zakładka urządzenie i jak macie wybraną już zakładkę urządzenie tak jak ja, no to wybieracie sobie opcję wyświetlacz. Po przejściu do ustawień wyświetlacza musicie sobie zjechać niżej i poszukać opcji wygaszacz ekranu. U mnie ta opcja jest na razie wyłączona, jeśli chciałbym ją włączyć, to oczywiście sobie klikam na to.
Magiczne niedziele w 7. Przygody.
Osiągnij więcej, zobacz więcej, przeżyj więcej. Irel.
Aby czuć się młodo i dobrze, potrzebujemy ruchu. Codzienna aktywność jest dla nas bardzo ważna. Teraz nawet bardziej niż w dużej mierze komfort naszego życia zależy od kondycji stawów i kości. Ale sam ruch może nie wystarczyć.
Suplement diety Molekin Stawy plus Kości zawiera aż 9 składników aktywnych, w tym 10 gramów kolagenu. Formuła Colmeri.
The rock and roll actor examines the career of this famous funnyman
Old
with a look at
MTV.
some of his classic performances on Saturday Night Live and as Blues brother Jake. We'll also hear from some of his closest buddies, including James Taylor and Bill Murray. We'll do it for you tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. And tomorrow night's your last chance to catch this week's MTV Top 20 Video Countdown, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, and it's sponsored in part by Twix and Adidas. And within 15 minutes, Sting is gonna hang 10.
Ready for Eagle Sidewalk surfing with me. It's summertime, summertime, summertime.
Sessions presents Summertime Gold, an amazing 5-record collection featuring 55 of the greatest hits of summertime, performed by the original artists. Just listen.
Oh, it's so nice to be with you. Teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini, me and you in no big blue.
The boy is back and you're gonna be trouble.
Beach, baby, give me your hand.
Relive all those great memories of summers past with Summertime Gold. This giant 5-record set contains 55 smash hits, all 100% certified original hits.
Serca, zmęczenie, ból brzucha, bezsenność i wysypkę. Żałosne. Jeśli sobie przykleję bombę, to będzie mnie leczyć 7 doktorów? To nie jedyny typ w New Jersey ze spluwą, a bez diagnozy. Nie gram w to. Naprawdę wychodzi? Tylko żartował. Rzuć markę. Bóle w piersi, problemy z płucami, zmęczenie, wysypka, przewlekłe zapalenie płuc, może rak płuc dający przerzuty. Dalej? Przepona mu nie działa. Zaburzenia przewodnictwa nerwowego? To chyba wstrząs. Najpierw leczymy facetów z bronią. Dalej. Ból brzucha z bezsennością najszybciej łączą problemy z krążeniem. Wada serca? Potrzebne będą dostawy specjalne. Foreman, zbadasz krew pod kątem zakażenia i nowotworu. Cameron, sprawdź w dokumentacji, czy zażywane leki mogły mu uszkodzić serce. Toby Gardner, poszukajcie w mieszkaniu neurotoksyn. Marshall 873 South Bronx. Okno z tyłu otwarte. Nie planujesz tam wrócić. Masz jakiś plan. Porucznik Bowman, jak się macie? Jedna powierzchowna rana kończyny dolnej i jeden nieprzytomny. Niestety nie ten, który powinien. Ktoś musi dostarczyć krew. Trudno mi będzie leczyć. Cicho. Uchyl żaluzję. Dlaczego ja? Uchylaj. Każdy może to zrobić. Dlaczego ja? Cofnijcie się. Zabiję ją, jeśli stąd nie pójdziecie. Ciekawe. Jeszcze ktoś ich słyszał? Ma nadwrażliwość słuchową. Co to znaczy? Że mamy faworyta. Konie numer 3. Nerwy. Badanie jest niebezpieczne i bolesne. Jeśli masz neuralgię, niczego nie poczujesz. Zaboli, jeśli diagnoza jest błędna. Same plusy. Nie rozłączaj się znowu. Przyślę cię tu...
Kurwa, gdzie to się pobrało? No pięknie. Muszę jeszcze BIOSa ściągnąć. Okej.